Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Tuesday, March 26th. Well, the world of justice was shaken today when a seemingly open and shut case was handled very differently than many people had hoped. You know, it was said earlier by someone who I will not name, were you really all that surprised? Were there any surprises to today's charges being dropped? Read the drop carefully again. Video evidence, payment evidence, testimony by 2 paid men evidence, not enough evidence to convict? The system is rigged. Will the AG need to get involved? Well, let's read this. Harris and Booker applying political pressure regarding Chicago PD, regarding Smollett FF case. What bill did the Senate recently pass regarding lynching? Who were the authors of the bill? What FF event took place just prior to the passing of that bill? Did the FF event involve a noose? Did the FF event sway senators in their decision to prevent fake news attacks regarding the Smollett case? Did fake news contact many senators prior to the vote seeking out pro or nay in an attempt to coerce using the Smollett case as a foundation for a future possible smear? What is the mathematical probability of these 2 events occurring within the same time period? What is the relationship of Smollett and Booker and Harris? Will Rahm Emanuel get involved? Will the Chicago PD cave under pressure? These people are sick. Wake up, America. This month, Virtual Shield is offering a spring special of 30% off all VPN plans and all premium add-ons, including Protection Plus, residential access, monthly maintenance, phone support, and VIP performance plans for as low as $3 per month. And don't forget about IdentiSafe, which allows the customer the ability to block off computer microphone and camera access from any unwanted spies and hackers. Remember, Virtual Shield is one of the easiest VPNs to use in the world. It's also one of the fastest. Their no-log policy protects its users from any data breaches. So go to virtualshield.com/redpill78 and sign up for your free month along with 35% off at this exclusive link. Well, I'd say America's pretty well woken up at this point. I want to start here with a bit of blind gossip from my mother. My mom sent it over. Real Red Pill 78's mom. If you're wondering what the heck happened in this high-profile criminal case, we may have some insight. Apparently, a trade was made. Justice for politics. The person who was responsible for administering justice aspires to a higher political office. She was told that she would only be supported by an influential former politician if she squashed the existing case. So what about the crime? It has nothing to do with the crime. It has to do with race and politics. She was told that the politician was very unhappy that this case was getting so much attention. She was told that she needed to make the case go away or she could kiss her own political future goodbye. Why did they want her to quash it? Well, the crime doesn't fit the narrative of their party, and it makes many people in their party look bad. Worst of all, it provides fodder for the opposing party for the 2020 election. So, if a local crime doesn't fit a national narrative, it never happened. Wow. Well, I'll give you guys a couple of guesses. Who do you think that former influential politician might be? Any ideas? Any ideas? We'll get to that in just a moment. But for right now, the Chicago Police Union wants a federal investigation into Kim Foxx's handling of this case after she exchanged text messages with Jussie Smollett's relatives. Crooked Chicago prosecutors dropped the charges against the hate hoaxer Jussie Smollett on Tuesday. Chicago police are furious over state's attorney Kim Foxx's decision to drop all charges against Jussie Smollett. Rafer Weigel on Twitter says, I can tell you that Chicago police are furious over S.A. Kim Foxx's decision to drop all charges against Jussie Smollett. But all the charges were dropped. Smollett reached a deferred prosecution deal, and the judge sealed his case. Even worse, Jussie Smollett and his lawyer are sticking to the big lie that Smollett was attacked by racist Trump supporters. The Chicago Police Union wanted a federal investigation into Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx's handling of Smollett's case after text messages revealed she was communicating with Jussie Smollett's relatives and supporters about their concerns over this case. Tina Chen, a former aide to Barack and Michelle Obama, former politician, sent Kim Foxx an email saying, Hi, Kim. I sent an email to your work address, I think, as well. I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and family, who I know. They have concerns about the investigation. I am on an 8 a.m. flight to NYC, but please call me before then. I land about 10:15 Chicago time, and my cell is redacted. Many thanks. In one text exchange with a Smollett relative, Kim Foxx is reassuring them that she spoke to the superintendent and asked for a favor. I'll keep you posted, Foxx said in a text. Oh my God, this would be a huge victory, the Smollett relative said in response. I make no guarantee, but I'm trying, Foxx replied. Read more of those text messages exchanged between Kim Foxx and Smollett's relatives and supporters here. Kim Foxx later recused herself from the case, but the police union wants the feds to determine whether Kim Foxx broke the law. What do you guys think? Well, here's those text messages. Let's take a look. Tina Chen to Kim Foxx. Hi, Kim. Sent that email. Oh. Want you to know when I'm going to be landing so you can call me and we can collude. Hi, Kim. This is blah, blah, blah. Are you available to chat? Tina Chen gave me your number. Hi, redacted. Are you available in 5 minutes? I'm at a conference in D.C. and will step out. P. Yes, I am. Spoke to the superintendent earlier. He made the ask. Trying to figure out logistics. I'll keep you posted. Oh my God, this would be a huge victory. I make no guarantees, but I'm trying. I understand. I appreciate the effort. Hey, hope all is well. I wanted to check in with you about what's happening here when you have a moment. Okay, are you available to chat now? Yes. Okay, calling you now. Sorry, had one quick question. Are you available to speak? Hey, sorry for the delay. I'm in Florida at a conference. I'm free now. Hi, sorry, I was in training. Available now to speak if you can. Hi again. Are you available to talk? Sure. Please note, State's Attorney Kim Foxx is recused from the investigation involving victim Jussie Smollett. First Assistant State's Attorney Joe Maggots is serving as the acting State's Attorney for this matter. Thanks, April. Here we go. Spoke to the Superintendent Johnson. I convinced him to reach out to the FBI to ask that they take over the investigation. He is reaching out now and will get back to me shortly. To Tina Chen. Thank you. I think blank blank Barack Obama is going to call you. Can you imagine if the state's attorney gave this much attention to the friends and family members of anyone else that was potentially on trial for staging a fake crime like this and wasting a bunch of taxpayer money, police, and investigative resources? Wow. To think that you would be lucky enough to have a state's attorney who cared that much about the outcome of your trial and your investigation, that they would be willing to speak with your friends and the family members and cohorts of very important people who wanted to see a very certain end to this whole matter. Well, here's another little tidbit from Incarnated ET. Kim Foxx is married to Kelly Foxx, who works for World Business Chicago, WBC, where Jim Reynolds of Loop Capital sits on the board of directors. Loop Capital, where have we heard that before? That's another connection to that former influential politician. And there's Kelly Foxx, her husband. Hank Paulson. You all remember Hank Paulson, right? Former Fed chairman. And there's Jim Reynolds of the Loop Capital Group. connected once again to that influential former politician. Of course, Kim Foxx is a Democrat, so I wonder what party it is that wants to make sure the Jussie Smollett investigation goes a certain way. And who is Tina Chen? Well, flashback, former Michelle Obama aide pressured prosecutor to give Smollett case to the FBI. Attorneys for Empire actor Jussie Smollett said Tuesday morning that charges alleging he filed a false report with Chicago police regarding a hate crime against himself have been dropped. The development follows reports that Cook County, Illinois' top prosecutor lobbied the Chicago Police Department to hand off the Smollett case to the FBI amid pressure by an ex-aide to former First Lady Michelle Obama. USA Today, citing text messages and emails from Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx's office, reported earlier this month that Tina Chen, who served as Michelle Obama's chief of staff from 2011 to 2017, told the prosecutor that Smollett's family harbored concerns regarding the police's handling of the probe. According to the newspaper, Foxx told the former Michelle Obama aide that she convinced Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson to request the FBI take over the investigation. In a text message to a Smollett family member, Foxx confirmed that she had made the request. Spoke to the superintendent earlier, he made the ask, wrote Foxx. Trying to figure out logistics, I'll keep you posted. Colluding to have his case essentially whitewashed. Although Foxx later recused herself from the case, Chicago 32. Although Foxx later recused herself from the case, Fox 32 Chicago Rafer Weigel reports nobody he's talked to believes the prosecutor actually did so. And that's that tweet that we saw earlier. Police charge that Smollett, who is black and gay, staged a racist and homophobic attack against himself in downtown Chicago on January 29th due to frustrations with his salary of only $100,000 per episode. He was hit with 16 felonies in connection to the incident. Amid his legal woes, executive producers of the hit Fox show cut Smollett from the season's final episodes. Smollett also faces possible legal trouble in connection to allegedly sending himself a threatening and racist letter to himself days prior to the allegedly staged attack against himself. Smollett faces possible legal trouble in connection to allegedly sending himself a threatening and racist letter to himself days prior to the allegedly staged attack against himself. The FBI is reportedly investigating the letter, but has yet to comment publicly on the matter. Who knows if they're going to now? This is a perfect example of the type of two-tier justice system we have here in the United States. And a lot of people, especially those on the left, are going to tell you that it's about race. It's maybe it's about sex. But it's not about race and sex. It's clearly about status. It's about wealth and status. If you are wealthy, you're a celebrity, or you're a person with a certain social cachet, then you can basically do whatever you want. You can get away with it. Now, we were told previously that it would be a shame if these records got leaked. Now, these are records related to, these text messages related to the Smollett case. It would certainly make for a lot more interesting situation if it was to actually be Jussie Smollett's text and phone records that got released. I'm actually hoping that might happen because this is such a travesty of justice. But, it could happen, it could not happen. It all depends on how this goes. Now, the one good thing about this is that the FBI is still investigating that letter because that's a big deal. That's a bigger deal than staging an attack against yourself to frame an entire group of people that you don't like for whatever reason. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If this was the other way around, and it was, say a Trump supporter that had staged an attack, then I think that person would quite literally have the entire book thrown at them. There would be no getting out of that. We're not going to cover up for them in that situation. They did wrong. Jussie Smollett did wrong. Jussie Smollett needs to be held accountable for his actions. Now, do you guys think it's coincidental that just yesterday his former lawyer was busted in the sting with Michael Avenatti? I don't know. It's an interesting question. It could be a coincidence, but I really don't believe in coincidences. It certainly wasn't Jesse's current lawyer that was busted. It could be that Mike Geragos is just a real slimy person, and this is the kind of stuff he does on a regular basis, and that's why he would be comfortable representing somebody of Smollett's character. But it could be that someone gave information on Mark Geragos and his upcoming plans with Nike to try and extort $20 million from them, along with Michael Avenatti. I don't know. We'll have to see. But, back to the question of status and wealth and your ability to commit crimes. Again, I'm going to ask, as we were asked earlier today, was there any surprise to today's charges being dropped? With all that evidence, and then for them to say that they didn't have enough evidence, it's a real travesty of justice. I said it earlier today. I think I might have even said it already once tonight, but it is the very definition of a travesty. Well, I'm not the only one who's upset. Even Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is furious. He said, "How dare he? This is a whitewash of justice." There was a press conference earlier today. Despite the evidence against Jussie Smollett, the Cook County State's attorney dropped all 16 charges against Smollett on Tuesday. Smollett left the courthouse today and lied, telling reporters that racist, homophobic Trump supporters beat him in a cold Chicago street and poured bleach on him after it was below the freezing point for bleach. This afternoon, even Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel condemned the Cook County attorney's decision to release Smollett. Rahm told reporters this was a whitewash of justice. Mr. Smollett is still saying he's innocent, still running down the Chicago Police Department. How dare him? How dare him? Is there no decency in this man? Clearly not. Clearly not. Let's take a listen.
Oh, sir, I want to say one other thing. Mr. Smollett is still saying that he is innocent, still running down the Chicago Police Department. How dare him? How dare him? After everybody saw, and I want to remind you, this is not the superintendent's word against his. The grand jury, a sliver of the evidence, and they came to a conclusion, as did the state's attorney's office. This is not the superintendent and the detective's department word against his. And even after this whitewash, still no sense of ownership of what he's done. He says that, in fact, he is the wronged in this case. This is an unbelievable, not just whitewash of justice. This is a person now who's been let off scot-free with no sense of accountability of the moral and ethical wrong of his actions, from top to bottom, not only besmirching the name of the city, but then I cannot stress that in a time when you have people bringing a moral equivalency in Virginia between bigots and those fighting bigotry, then you have a person using hate crime laws that are on the books to protect people who are minorities from violence, to then turn around and use those laws to advance your career and your financial reward. Is there no decency in this man?
Perhaps one of the most corrupt mayors in Chicago history. And even he understands how disgusting this is, how broken our justice system is. Perhaps the AG is going to need to get involved. I think that's an affirmative. It's definitely going to happen. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel strongly condemned the Cook County State's Attorney's Office decision to drop all charges against Jussie Smollett, calling it a whitewash of justice. This is a whitewash of justice, Emanuel said Tuesday afternoon during a fiery press conference alongside Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson. A grand jury could not have been clearer. In a stunning reversal, all charges were dropped against Smollett Tuesday morning by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. To think that Rahm Emanuel, with as dishonest as he is fully keyed in to how horrible and perverse this decision was. Imagine how this man feels. A real cop. Imagine how he feels. Well, the top Chicago cop slams prosecutors for dropping charges against Smollett. They brokered a deal in secret to circumvent the justice system. Crooked Chicago prosecutors dropped the charges against hate hoaxer Jussie Smollett on Tuesday. Chicago police are furious over state's attorney Kim Foxx's decision to drop all charges against Jussie Smollett. Smollett reached a deferred prosecution deal, and the judge sealed the case. And like we said, they're sticking with the lie. Well, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie T. Johnson, along with Mayor Rahm Emanuel, had that presser today to address the shocking news that prosecutors were dropping the charges without even talking to the police department. Eddie Johnson repeatedly stated that Jussie Smollett is guilty of staging a hate hoax crime in January, and he did it to advance his career. There's one set of rules for the powerful and influential, and it's totally wrong. Thank you, Eddie Johnson. Even crooked Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel called the decision to drop all charges against Smollett a whitewash of justice. Do I think justice was served? No. I think the city is still owed an apology, Eddie Johnson said. Mr. Johnson said crooked prosecutors brokered a deal in secret to circumvent the judicial system. And we've got video. Let's take a listen.
I'm sure we all know what occurred this morning. My personal opinion is that you all know where I stand on this. Do I think justice was served? No. Where do I think justice is? I think this city is still owed an apology. I've heard that they wanted their day in court with TV cameras so America could know the truth, even though they chose to hide behind secrecy and broker a deal to circumvent the judicial system. My job as a police officer is to investigate an incident, gather evidence, gather the facts, and present them to the state's attorney. That's what we did. I stand behind the detective's investigation. I'll let Mary Manuel comment further.
The slimiest part, not only did they not discuss it with Eddie here, but they waited until he was in a ceremony inducting, I believe it was 275 new Chicago police officers. And they did it then so that he couldn't be there, so that he couldn't make, some type of a scene or have his say. He had to learn about it along with everybody else while he was in the middle of the ceremony. And what did he do? He stayed there. He honored and welcomed the freshman class of officers that were coming in. The Chicago Police Union wants a federal investigation into Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx's handling of Smollett's case after those text messages were revealed that she was communicating with Smollett's relatives and supporters about their concerns over this case. Tina Chen, that former aide to Barack and Michelle Obama, sent Kim Foxx an email. She said, "Hi, Kim. I sent an email to your work address as well. I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and family, who I know. They have concerns about the investigation. Oh, that maybe they're going to do a thorough job and you're going to get busted. I am on an 8 a.m. flight to NYC, but please call me before then. I land about 10:15 Chicago time. My cell is many thanks." Of course, Kim Foxx later recused herself from the case. The Chicago Police Union wants the feds to determine whether Kim Foxx broke the law. Well, I would say that I think that Kim Foxx broke the law. I think that this was a real, utter miscarriage of justice. But one of the things that I found out today really didn't surprise me, and that's that she received major funding from George Soros. He spent $408,000 on her campaign. And what did she do? She let someone who was clearly guilty, wasted a bunch of time and money and resources, investigative services. She let him go free. Far-left billionaire George Soros has been systematically targeting district attorney races throughout the United States. Many of the radical far-left candidates he has backed have already won election. This could be very bad. We talked about this before. St. Louis City. Far-left lunatic Kim Gardner took money from Soros in her race for the St. Louis Circuit Attorney. Soros-funded PAC even released an ad in support of this far-left and unqualified nutcase. We're not going to watch it because there's nothing to see there. Kim Gardner won her election and is wreaking havoc on the city of St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office. Likewise, in Chicago, Soros spent $408,000 to get radical state's attorney Kim Foxx elected. And we know that Kim Foxx recused herself from the case, and today they were dropped. Breitbart reported that left-wing billionaire megadonor George Soros donated $408,000 in 2016 to a super PAC that supported Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, whose office prosecuted and summarily dropped the Jussie Smollett case. In a shock announcement Tuesday, prosecutors dropped all 16 felony charges against the left-wing Hollywood actor, whom police had accused of faking a hate crime in January that he blamed on racist, homophobic, white Trump supporters. Jussie Smollett owes more than just an apology. Jussie Smollett owes us his day in court. But you know what? Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch are on the job. Yes, they will investigate the Smollett scandal. Thank God for Judicial Watch. Tom Fitton reassured Americans on Tuesday that Judicial Watch will be investigating the Jussie Smollett scandal after crooked Chicago prosecutors dropped all 16 charges against the hate crime hoaxer in a stunning display of lawlessness. Tom Fitton said, yes, Judicial Watch will investigate the Smollett scandal. Chicago police are furious over Cook County's state's attorney Kim Foxx's decision to drop all charges against Smollett. There are plenty of documents that Judicial Watch can obtain through FOIA lawsuits. Smollett reached a deferred prosecution deal, and the judge sealed his case. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie T. Johnson said in a presser on Tuesday that prosecutors brokered a deal in secret. Cook County State's Attorney, as we know, was communicating with Tina Chen, former aide to Barack and Michelle Obama, who probably had a heavy hand in having this case dismissed against Jussie Smollett. Be on the lookout for Kim Foxx. If she is allowed to continue on her political course, she's probably going to be going for some real high-level offices. I wouldn't be surprised if next we see her running for Attorney General in Illinois. In one text exchange with a Smollett relative, and the name is redacted, Kim Foxx is reassuring the individual that she spoke to, the superintendent, and asked for a favor. The individual reached out to Foxx on February 1st and said, "Hi, Kim, this is redacted. Are you available for a chat? Tina Chen gave me your number." Kim Foxx later recused herself from the case. I'm really hoping that federal investigators do look into this. I hope that now that we've got a Justice Department that is willing to give us an equal interpretation of the law for both sides, no matter what political affiliation you have, that perhaps we may still see justice done. At the very least, that by looking into it, something like this does not happen again. But Jussie Smollett needs to come clean. He was not exonerated. I believe there was a Chicago representative, someone, or maybe it was from the FBI. I can't remember. Someone earlier today said that we have not exonerated him. He's guilty. All right. He just made a deal to have everything sealed, and now he's out there saying that he's innocent because the records are sealed. That's the only reason he can go ahead and say that. Well, perhaps Judicial Watch is going to do us a solid and get more information out there, and it will be patently obvious to everyone, not just us, that Jussie Smollett is as guilty as sin. One more story for tonight. Well, two more stories, but one subject. From the Gateway Pundit, Trump blames officials very high up in the Obama administration for Russian collusion debacle. This whole thing, no matter how traumatic it's been for us, for the country, it has guaranteed Trump another term in 2020. That's my opinion. President Trump on Tuesday said the investigation into whether he or members of his campaign colluded with Russians to sway the outcome of the 2016 election began on orders from officials very high up in the Obama administration. On a short visit to the Capitol to meet with Republican lawmakers, Trump was asked by a reporter, "You've accused the people who launched the investigation into your campaign of treasonous acts. How high up do you think it went?" "I think it went very high up. I think what happened is a disgrace. I don't believe our country should ever be allowed to have this happen again. This will never happen again. We can never let it happen again. It went very high up and it started fairly low, but with instructions from high up. This should never happen to a president again. We can't allow that to take place," Trump said. Trump was asked if it reached the West Wing of the Obama White House, meaning was former President Barack Obama involved? To which Trump replied, "I don't want to say that, but I think you know the answer." I think we all know the answer. Taking a few questions near the Ohio clock tower in the Capitol, surrounded by reporters, Trump was asked about the report from special counsel Robert Mueller. Trump said, well, the Mueller report was great. It could not have been better. It said no collusion, no obstruction. It could not have been better. The president was also asked about plans to impeach him, which have mostly faded away, even though Mueller's report was delivered to the Justice Department, even before Mueller's report was delivered to the Justice Department. I don't think they're talking about impeachment. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. Our country is in incredible shape. They and others created a fraud on our country in this ridiculous witch hunt, where it's proven very strongly, no collusion, no obstruction, no nothing, he said. We are doing so well. We've never probably had a time of prosperity like this. It's been great. He's right. Based on the final report from Mueller, Attorney General William Barr said in a 4-page summary on Sunday that investigators did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Some are now arguing that those responsible for the allegations and subsequent investigation, which lasted nearly 2 years and cost tens of millions of dollars, be held accountable. Rush Limbaugh, for one, agrees that the allegations began high up, maybe even all the way up to the Obama people. I believe it did. I think that one of the reasons this investigation was started, the Mueller special counsel investigation, and one of the reasons it went so long was to distract and cover up the real collusion and conspiracy and criminality from the Obama people, the Hillary people, the Steele dossier, the Russians, and all of it, Limbaugh said. The probe also alleged collusion with Russia began shortly after the FBI used the uncorroborated Steele dossier, a supposed intelligence report compiled by Christopher Steele, a former head of the Russia desk for British intelligence for the private investigation firm Fusion GPS. That alleged conspiracy between Trump's campaign and the Russian government to wiretap some officials. As soon as I learned about the dossier, that's all. That's all there has ever been. That's all they ever had. And it was totally made up, Limbaugh said. Then I learned that Hillary paid for it. Glenn Simpson, Fusion GPS, and a Democrat committee law firm involved in all this? I mean, not charging Hillary Clinton for the obvious crimes that she's committed because they couldn't find intent, yet this ongoing effort to destroy Trump. The conservative talk show host also said former FBI Director James Comey, who was fired by Trump, never had any evidence for the collusion allegations. This is why Comey and his crew need to be held accountable. We still don't know what evidence the disgraced James Comey and his FBI had to open the original probe in the summer of 2016, and whether there was anything other than the dossier, he said. Yes, we do. There was nothing. And we knew it before the revered Robert J. Mueller III opined on Friday that there wasn't any collusion. Here's another report. We don't know any compelling reason why Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein later decided a special counsel was necessary to get to the bottom of the swirling accusations of collusion. Yes, we do know why. This is not hard. Trump fired Comey. Comey was to be the secret agent running the operation from the administrative state. Comey was running the operation to get rid of Trump. Trump fired him. Can't have that. Well, Trump knew that Comey had to be taken out. Okay? It would have been just exactly as Rush put it right here. Comey would have been running the whole operation, this fifth column from inside the government. Optics are important. We've heard that before. Optics are so important. So they got rid of Comey, and then they brought in Mueller. We got Rosenstein pretending to be a black hat. We've got Mueller, at best a gray hat, I think, but Mueller agreed to do this. By doing this investigation, this impartial special counsel investigation fully exonerates Trump. Okay? They went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. There's nothing there. We put it out there. Rod Rosenstein this whole time appeared to be working for the other side, but Rod Rosenstein knows that he needs to save his neck. So he was actually working with Trump this entire time. Now we know that. We know that conclusively. Now, in a report that we received earlier today, the McCabe Page texts that have been released now very recently, just earlier, reveal high-level intel meeting after the 2016 election. These are newly obtained text messages between former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe and bureau lawyer Lisa Page, and they reveal a high-level meeting among senior intelligence officials that was held weeks before Trump's inauguration during a critical period in the Russia probe. In a December 12, 2016 text reviewed by Fox News, Page wrote to McCabe, "By the way, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper told Pete that he was meeting with Clowns in America director John Brennan and Cohen for dinner tonight. Just FYSA for your situational awareness." Within a minute, McCabe replied, "Okay." Cohen is likely then Deputy Clowns Director David Cohen. Pete is likely a reference to Peter Strzok, who played a lead role in the original Russia investigation at the FBI and with whom Page was having an affair, and who was also simultaneously employed by the Clowns. It is unclear whether the dinner meeting concerned the investigation and suspicions about Russia's contacts with Trump advisors, including incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. But two government sources told Fox News it was irregular for Clapper to be in direct contact with Strzok, who was at a much more junior level. It is not clear from the text if Strzok also attended the dinner. A lawyer for Strzok declined to comment, but did not dispute the text referenced to Strzok. Asked for comment, a former government official characterized the dinner as a routine monthly sit-down to discuss ongoing intelligence issues, adding that it's impossible to recall what was discussed. The former official said the bottom line is that Clapper does not know Peter Strzok beyond possibly receiving a briefing from him years ago, and he certainly never kept him in the loop about anything. The source also said Clapper does not know Strzok on a personal level and has had no professional relationship with him. Looks like it's very possible they were talking about Michael Flynn, because here is a text message from Andrew McCabe, and it's an article. Trump offers retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn the job of National Security Advisor, a person close to the transition team says. So it looks like they were definitely thinking about this fact, and they immediately knew that they had to jump on it and do something. Andrew McCabe says, "I tried sending an email to blank, and it bounced back. Are you getting the blank emails? Inquired about our plan regarding that FISA target. If he mobilizes, given the physical access he has, let me know if you got the email I forwarded from Tash." Believe that's Tashina Gower. U.S. intelligence officials said the Clowns have identified the actors who took possession of those stolen files and delivered them to WL. The individuals are known for their affiliation to Russian intelligence services, but one step removed from the Russian government. This is from the Post. Let's confirm tomorrow with CY and CD to see if they have any idea what this refers to. By the way, Clapper told Pete that he, Clapper, was meeting with Brennan and Cohen for dinner tonight. So right there, who else could this be? He's the only Pete that I know of on the investigation. And it sure sounds like Clapper has a close personal relationship if he's, and it's Andrew McCabe that knows about it. Okay, so in that first text exchange, Andrew McCabe says 16 packages tomorrow. 4 may come separately because they still need to be signed. And then down here he says there could be 11 packages tomorrow, but I think 8 still need OGC's signature, just FYI. I guess those packages won't be going anywhere. I don't know if that's actual packages that just, these are UPS, they need to get signatures. But maybe this is code for something else. However, the December 2016 meeting that was apparently shared with Strzok, as documented in the text, came during a period critical for the Russia probe. Donald Trump had scored a stunning upset victory a month earlier. Flynn, around this time, was having conversations with Russia's U.S. ambassador that caught the attention of the feds. The FBI had recently started surveillance on Trump advisor Carter Page. The New York Times was about to publish a lengthy report on Russia's U.S. election interference, and then FBI Director James Comey and others would soon brief Trump on allegations against him in the so-called dossier by Steele. The McCabe-Page texts also show Flynn was on their radar at that time. On November 17, 2016, Page sent McCabe a Washington Post article entitled, "Trump Offers Retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn the Job of National Security Advisor." After Trump's inauguration, Flynn would resign for lying to the administration about his contacts with Russia's ambassador. He later pled guilty to making false statements in connection with the Russia probe. I'd like to point out at this time that it was Mike Pence who said that he lied to him initially, and then Flynn has still not been sentenced for this stuff. And now the Mueller probe is over. So is that even going to happen? I really want to know what they plan to do following up on General Flynn here, because he doesn't deserve this. I heard he's almost bankrupt now, poor guy. That probe was handed over to Robert Mueller upon his appointment as special counsel in May 2017. Mueller submitted his findings last Friday, reporting that his investigation had found no evidence of coordination between the Russian government and the Trump campaign regarding election interference. Trump has claimed vindication in the wake of the investigation, but he and his allies have renewed the calls to scrutinize the origins of the probe at the FBI. Fox News reported last week on the contents of some of the McCabe Page texts, which showed Bureau officials battling with the DOJ official about the possible bias of a source pivotal to the Carter Page surveillance warrant application. OI, Office of Intelligence, now has a robust explanation regarding any possible bias on the CHS confidential human source in the package. Oh, okay. Packages, and then the package here, they are referring to the Steele dossier. So maybe those individual packages were the individual memos that Steele wrote. Don't know what the holdup is now other than Stu's continued concerns. Fox News is told the texts were connected to the ultimately successful Page application, which relied in part on information from British ex-spy Christopher Steele, whose anti-Trump views are now well documented, and cited Page's suspected Russia ties. Stu was an apparent reference to Stuart Evans, then the DOJ's National Security Division Deputy Assistant Attorney General. When Fox News first reported on the McCabe Page texts, Page did not respond to requests for comment. McCabe and the FBI declined to comment. Now, in these texts, it was stated that, so these texts are in 2016. So it would have been Sally Yates that was the Deputy Attorney General at this time. So if Sally Yates, she was DAG during this period of time, what does he refer to regarding DAG? Was Rod Rosenstein planned to assume DAG at that point in time? Bake your noodle. So they knew already that he was going to be the Deputy Attorney General. They were planning on it. We've also got some information that was dropped. Someone I had asked, Admiral Rogers would have had lots of access. Didn't he turn off access to the FBI contractors? And in response to that, one of the members of the team speaking to us said, think Rogers Trump Tower meeting, right after skiff set up in the tower. Think POTUS campaign leaving Trump Tower, base of operations, the very next day. 1 + 1 = 2. What does that mean? Well, Trump Tower was bugged. Someone says, I thought this was known, and it was responded that knowing what you know now, replay the story. Start late 2015. And then someone posts this tweet from Donald Trump from November 22nd, 2016. Great meetings will take place today at Trump Tower concerning the formation of the people who will run our government for the next 8 years. And someone asks, was this bait? And there's no response. I think that means that yes, this was bait. So knowing what he knew, because of Admiral Rogers, this was put out there at 3:46 a.m. Wow, I wonder if he had just woken up or if he was trying to get a little bit of sleep. But this plan was put in place a very long time ago. Very long time ago. Perhaps even before President Trump, well, definitely before President Trump ran, because we believe that he was asked to run. One more video of the night from my friend Methods, recently sent over to me. He says, our girl Sarah Carter talking about who needs to be investigated. Sarah is on point. Let's take a listen.
Who should be investigated?
I think right now, all the people that you listed, Sean, Loretta Lynch, Hillary Clinton, James Comey, but more importantly, I think that John Brennan, the former director of the CIA, I think James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, they need to be investigated as well. We need to know how much they knew and when they knew it. And that is so vitally important to getting to the truth here, because they have spread so much disinformation about the Trump administration and about the campaign. And if we were worried about Russians, we should have been more worried about what our own intelligence community was doing.
Exactly. We should have been more worried about what our own people were doing. But it's not supposed to go like this. We are not supposed to worry about having to go against our own people. This was so vitally damaging to America, to her credibility, to these revered institutions that are meant to keep us safe. They have done everything but. Well, guys, I think that's all I have for you tonight. Take a minute to digest all this stuff. What do we have here? We've got the clear indication that we are going to see investigations begin to take place, not only from Lindsey Graham, but our friend here telling us that the Attorney General may have to get involved with the Smollett operation. We know that former President Obama and his wife Michelle are behind a lot of these moves, perhaps even the very genesis of this operation against Donald Trump. I think that once the Attorney General of this, recently revamped Justice Department begins to take a look, we're going to see a lot of things come out. Every single day, we have seen more and more information coming out that is damning for the left. And as I said when I started, this has only been good for President Trump. It has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this man is clean, all right? And it's through his actions, he's shown that he cares about America, that he cares about what happens in this country. It's only a matter of time before the whole house of cards comes falling down. Thank you once again for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this has been your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.